That's right. It's the Good Time Group.
Oh, yeah.
Back for the attack, coming at you with a comparative def check. A few words.
Oh, the old and the new. Back to back. Face to face.
Well, without further ado, shall we dive in? That's my bit. We don't say that together. That's all right. We'll let it slide. We'll let it slide. Icon's Forest Hideout. Not the Forestmen Hideout, the Forest Hideout. Onto accessibility.
A common problem that has not been overcome in the modern era is there's little to no room.
Zippy zap, if you will.
Yeah, that's a perennial problem with our Forestmen friends.
Speaking of perennials, there's some delightful flowers surrounding this here hideout.
Partial camouflage, partial tripping hazard to that doorway, I suppose.
Yes, sir. That being said, we do have an armory, places to put weapons aplenty, spears, swords, bow and arrow.
Actually, don't we have one? Got one clip, right?
Well, yeah, but you can put different things in that one clip.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Not at the same time, though. Well, you could hang the bow on it and then clip something, right?
True.
That'd be a big brain move.
All the levels are accessible. You can be on the ground. Thank goodness. That was a close one. There's a ladder up to the second level, and those are the only 2 levels.
So there you go. Got some good Wolfpack floors in there.
Yes.
You can climb up.
Accessibility, 1. Onto defensibility.
There is no door. No door to be seen. It is a hole in the tree. There is poor visibility. Not only do branches get in the way of a few of these windows, the whole backside, where the door is blind. You cannot see the enemies approaching your gate.
The armory is unfortunately accessible to any attackers. Like, we ran into that, I think, a little bit with, was that King's Mountain Fortress?
Fortress.
It's an error that has existed in LEGO castles for the last decades.
Ab aeternum.
If you will. Oh, but I won't.
Yep. And ab ovo as well. There are scalable branches. Not only can they grab your spear, they can climb up your branches and they'll get you. They'll get you.
It's nice that this is camouflaged, albeit it is not the camouflaged outpost, but I think the branches are adequate.
But of course.
Defensibility, -4. Onto offensibility. We've got 4 arrow loops, and they're facing in 3 directions.
That's big blind spot on the back.
Bad bombing.
Bad bombing indeed.
And we have a score of -1 for offensibility. And
auxiliary graces. Yeah, I think so too.
Fair enough. That leaves us with a total of -4. Not great. Not the worst we've seen.
Comparable to other Forestmen sets.
I wonder if there's a trend. Well, let's take a look at the Forestmen's Hideout.
Oh.
And without further ado, let's dive into that, going back for seconds.
There is not a ladder. We had wanted one. We got one later, but there is not a ladder in the original one.
It's true. But to compensate for that, there are vines.
These dexterous Forestmen.
The nimble-footed folk, if you will.
Yes, the so fleet of foot, these folk. And there's an armory. In fact, there are 3 clips as opposed to the 1, so you don't have to do any fandangling.
Or Dan Fanglin.
Or that either, yeah.
Accessibility, 1. Let's take a look at defensibility.
Once again, it lacks a portal. There is no door.
And likewise, the spear is accessible to enemies.
Almost more accessible to your enemies than to you. Once again, some poor visibility. Lacks some windows, branches in the way.
We have that same pesky blind spot over the doorway. And once again, we've got camouflage.
Yes, it works. It works.
I'm convinced. I don't know where it is.
It's a tree. Red flag and blue roof, be ignored, for we have green branches aplenty.
Defensibility, -3. let's take a quick trip on over to offense ability. Drum roll. Same problem, inadequate number of arrow loops.
Ooh,
Bad throw.
that's tough.
Offense ability, -1. Bonus / auxiliary graces.
It's cool, but
I agree.
yeah, no auxiliary graces.
Our final total is -4.
What? No, it's almost like they're pretty much the same set.
It's just
using different pieces.
Different pieces, and then there were a few things that got shifted around a little bit, like the vines versus the ladder.
The number of clips usable, the shape of the doorway, the style of the target.
Oh yeah. Now, they function the same, practically speaking.
Yeah, the tower. Yeah.
But now let's talk about it as a toy. So looking at the piece count, the new Forest Hideout has 1.28 pieces per one piece of the original Forestman's Hideout.
That is 258 to 201. That's 57 more pieces.
That is true. We also took into account something that's a little bit peculiar, the number of unique pieces. We have in the Icon's Forest Hideout 72 unique pieces, excluding minifigure parts and accessories. And in the original Forestman Hideout, we have 53. So for every one unique piece in the original Forestman Hideout, there are 1.36 unique pieces in the new one. Why is that helpful? Well,
we're glad you asked. The question becomes, is it worth it? More pieces, does it look 1.28 times better? Variety of pieces, does it look 1.36 times better? Does it function better? It's certainly not any more or less accessible, defensible, or offensive.
I don't know. It might be more offensive. Look at that mushroom. I'm appalled.
Scoff. I gotta say, some of these branches, this style of building branches and limbs, doesn't do anything for me. Except kind of like, it looks not all that Lego. Great big tooth piece. It's not more like a real branch than the arch piece. And the way the foliage sits, like the neck of a Dilophosaurus, is significantly less like a real branch than before.
One other thing that we needed to take a look at was the cost. So the Icon's Forest Hideout was indeed a gift with purchase, and I feel free to fact check this, but I want to say it was something like $150. So you spend $150 on something less cool than this in order to get this. Whereas the original set was $17.50. Now, to be fair, we will do some quick maths.
Ding.
So in today's dollars, the 1988 Forestman's Hideout would retail for approximately 45 big ones.
That's a lot of big ones.
And with inflation moving as it has, a set released in 2022 is still going to be affected, even though we're only in 2023. So the $150 that you would have been paying last year is now looking more like $156.
And some change.
I wish they would. So now a psychological comparison between the two. I would say the Icon's Forest Hideout is a victim of the abuse of marketing.
Oh, wow.
So in order to get this set, which albeit it's very, very cool, this would still be a blast to play with. But you had to spend the money that you would have wanted to spend on this, on something other than this. And I think there was a whole controversy about how you weren't able to get this and King's Castle or Crusader Castle, Lion Castle, whatever you want to call it, at the same time. Am I correct in that?
I think there was a stink raised about that.
A big stink, not a little stink.
Oh, and that's big stinky.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. But there's been a trend of playing on perhaps parents' nostalgia so that they spend larger sums of money to get trinkets like this, and like the Blacktron Cruiser, another gift with purchase set, and like the potentially upcoming Magisto's Workshop or Magisto's Tower type deal.
Learn more about that with our good friend BB202.
Dude, that guy. There you have it.